Welcome back, Charleston. You're joining us today on Navigate Your Wealth, where we are being a little vulnerable with you and sharing how Compass Financial came to be. You know, it was at 11 years old. I promised my mom that I would be her business partner, and it took us a little longer to get there, but now we are chugging along and we are able to help our clients build a worry-free retirement. So the beginning of our episode today, we talked about us and who we are, but now we want to turn the table and talk about you and what it means to become a client at Compass Financial. Mom?
Good job, Sam. So when you call in and get that complimentary, no cost, no obligation meeting, that retirement roadmap includes so many pieces, but I want to break down really what happens. The first thing that happens is we have a conversation. We want to know what your retirement looks like to you. We want to begin with the end in mind. And so in order to do that, we need to know what those hopes and dreams and desires that you have are. Do you want to travel? Do you want to be philanthropic? Do you want to give back to your community with charitable, donating your time? Do you want to go back to work part-time because you're just super social? I used to think people that were meeters and greeters in Walmart just didn't plan well, but now I know some people just have that need to be social, and that is fine. Once we determine what it is that retirement looks like for you, then we need to take the second step and figure out what it's going to cost. You get to do all the things while you're working because you have a paycheck. And so the way that you get to do those same things in retirement is with an income check. So we need to figure out what's the travel, what's the daily, expenses and so forth going to look like. Then we take the next step, which is to figure out what income do we know that's going to come in. Do you have a pension? What will your Social Security income look like? And then we look at the assets. If there's an income gap, most people today don't have a pension, and Social Security usually isn't going to cover a robust lifestyle in retirement. So we want to fill that income gap with some of your assets, and we'll take you through the steps on how it would be best for you to fill that gap. The next piece that we want to do, obviously, is figure out taxes and Social Security, and so we'll do all that after, but we want to figure out what is the income that you need.
We love a good analogy at Compass Financial, and so when you work with us, every client gets a GPS. Now, GPS for us means growth, protection, and savings. It is a one-page snapshot where you can see all of your assets on the model. Mom, you talked about beginning with the end in mind, and ultimately that's what we're doing. We're reverse engineering how we get to our destination. If you're going to take a trip and I am traveling to Boston, I am not good at just getting in the car and hoping I know where I'm going. I plug in my final destination into a GPS. Thank you, Google Maps. That is exactly what we do for our clients. We build out their GPS and we make sure that we can see exactly where we need to take them. The nice thing about the GPS is that when clients come to us year after year, they see their updated GPS and they can see the growth that they've had. It's like a snapshot in time to be able to implore and congratulate them on the work that they have done.
The progress I'm making. I love this GPS because it is a single one sheet of paper that houses all of your assets. I don't know how many of you have hired a financial advisor and they've told you for $5,000 we can give you a full financial plan, and it's 60 pages in length, and I promise you the first time you read it is probably the last time you read it. The problem with that 60 pages is that the financial planning process is a moving target. I always say if you're going to shoot a rocket onto the moon, should you aim at the moon or ahead of the moon?
Ahead.
Right? So what I love about the GPS is that it truly is a snapshot, and every time you come in for a review, whether it's quarterly or annually, no less than annually, we will house your assets and the changes that have been made from the last time and the improvement and the growth and all of that on that GPS. And they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that GPS really tells the story.
One of the things that I love about that GPS is also it helps give the direction, right? It's a snapshot in time, but we can also understand when your GPS is out of alignment. As you continue to grow your assets, things shift. And we want to make sure that when we're making recommendations for our clients, it's not about what we want to sell them. It's not about what the hottest product is on the market. It is about what they need. So we put it on the model, and the model dictates the change.
Exactly. Now, speaking of models, the other model that we came up with, and I got to tell you, you have brought all of this to life. I thought when I brought you into the business, I just have to share, that it was going to be my 3 to 5 year exit strategy. I was going to train her up, and then I was out of here. But it's been so much fun creating all of these new ways to help and teach our clients that I told you, and I mean it, you're going to have to carry me out feet first in a wooden box. And I know she laughs and says, well, 44 years of knowledge I haven't sucked out of your brain yet, Mom, so I will keep you around for a little while. But anyway, the power of 3. Do you want to talk about that now?
The power of 3 is our proprietary model that we use, and it really is 43 years in the making. Yeah. When I joined you 10 years ago, you were adamant about taking risk out of retirement for your clients, and the strategies that you used in the 80s and 90s were no longer working. And when I said, Mom, I want to come help you, but I need to have the confidence that when you do retire eventually, that I can stand confidently behind all of the plans that we put in place for our clients. There was no way that I could leave your retirement to chance. I needed to make sure that what we were doing was going to get you to the finish line. And so the power of 3 was created. We talk about the fact that your money has job descriptions. And the job descriptions of money is that your money can grow, it can be liquid, or it can provide income. And it cannot do multiple things unless you're asking that job description to not perform well. And nobody wants the jobs of their money to fail.
Exactly.
So with the power of 3, we carve out guaranteed income for our client. That is the solution that provides the income so that the other dollars can do other jobs. The second thing that we have in our power of 3 is liquidity. We need protection, but you need access to money beyond guaranteed income. And so that for us, we typically fill with cash value life insurance. The last piece of our model is that you need your dollars to grow. So those dollars can be invested in the market. But when you know that your income is guaranteed, your bills are going to be covered no matter who is president, no matter what the market does. And you know that that liquidity exists so that you have permission
That's right.
to be in the market. Now being in the market is like you're 37 and not like you're 65 or 75.
Would you mind if I close out this session with my story?
Of course, I love it.
So one of the other ways that the power of 3 came to be was that I had a client who was 100% invested in the market. And as he approached retirement, I said, look, it's worked great because the market has done well. But I want you to imagine you're riding a unicycle. Now, at 30 or 35 years old, if you're riding a unicycle and you hit a pothole, i.e. market correction, I see the 35-year-old jumping off, falling off, doing a somersault, whatever, getting back on and riding into the, down the road. But if a 65-year-old gets on a unicycle, that's, first of all, questionable. But assuming that I could even get on that unicycle, I promise you, if I hit that pothole, the next vehicle I'm getting into is an ambulance. And I'm not going down the road, hi-ho, I'm heading straight to the hospital. And so as I started thinking about that, I realized that the money cannot solely just stay in the market. The accumulation phase and the distribution phase are very different. And that was when I said, maybe instead of a unicycle, we need to put 2 more wheels under this bottom and make it a safer ride. And that's where the power of 3 came to be.
Thank you so much for joining us through this episode. We have so much more coming in the very last segment, but what we want to make sure is that your retirement is worry-free. Could the power of 3 be the solution that you need to make sure that you can sleep like a baby and not be riding a unicycle into retirement? Stick with us. There's more to come.